The World Heavy Yeet Champion lost in front of Mini Yeet. He lost in front of his son. Ha, ha, ha. It's time to gloat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw from Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, for the first time in a while, I decided to watch Raw all the way through. I actually have not watched the Raw all the way through since the Raw after Mania. And I picked a hell of a week to come back, at least with one review. Maybe I'll watch next week, I don't know, but fairly noteworthy episode. I certainly didn't expect the ending, but ha ha ha, Jey Uso lost the World Championship. You guys had your fun. Now let's have somebody that actually is good in the ring hold the championship. Jey Uso's over. He sells a lot of merch. He gets a lot of great reactions. And he lost in front of his kid. His kid that looks like a mix of Little Bow Wow and Jaden Smith. There you go. I don't know what's wrong with the kid. That being said, look, there were good parts of this show. There were parts that were typical Raw. No, I'm not returning to review Raw every single week. I got other things to do. I just had a bolt of energy and was like, okay, sure, I'll do that. So, yeah, they were in Phoenix, Arizona, where the Suns play, I believe. 18,422 capacity, and they had around 14,000 people according to WrestleTix. Good stuff. So, Worlds Collide, Money in the Bank recaps. Check out my review of those, reviews of those, on the channel. Cena shows up. The crowd lays into him, as you would expect. He knocks the fans for the true stuff. Your voice doesn't matter. Gee, Triple H was having his hand all the way up Cena's ass right there. And look, I'm glad Truth is back. One final run. I'm happy for him. But this Cena heel turn, it was great to start, and I'm sorry. Like, I know he can't go anymore, and I know the idea is you're not giving the fans your absolute best, but this isn't good. This is not good. It's stale. Talks about his remaining days. There's 19 left. And then Punk shows up to a pop. And he's got a whole lot to say. In one way or another, we're going to fight. We're going to fight in Riyadh. One way or another, it's going to be for your championship. One way or another, we're going to see Punk and Cena one more time. One way, maybe next week, or in Riyadh in just a few weeks. So, you will listen to everything I have to say. He's here to defend the people. I mean, it was well done, and Punk was really carrying this because the Cena stuff's, again, kind of stale. We're just spokes on the wheel. Not as good as the lyric as the Gail Kim TNA song, We're All Puppets on a String. And that Elimination Chamber, when you locked the STF on me after Seth stomped me, you said, I'm sorry. You knew what you were going to do. You knew it was wrong. And you know what you're doing now is wrong. At least creative should know that. That belt made you a monster just like it made me a monster in 2012. And I guess to beat the monster, I have to become the monster in order to stop the monster. So, Cena says, fine, you're going to wait till Saudi because we're going to see if Punk's going to go to Saudi. Apparently he is. He'll probably get a shit pot full of money, and knowing Punk, he will probably do what Mustafa Ali did and donate because that's what Punk is able to do. Punk's able to turn things around and do well. To be fair, he did knock WWE going to Saudi Arabia. Kind of don't blame him. But whatever, it is what it is. They are getting like $50 million plus per show. So Seth shows up in all green with his case, while here comes Bronson and Braun Steinbreaker and the Macy's Day Float that is Paul Heyman were there. So, King and Yas Queen of the Ring tournament brackets. Asuka's back. Out of nowhere, Cinderella story. Hopefully she's doing well. She has some personal issues, some bullshit going on. And thankfully, she seems to be doing fine. So, the ringside area and the ring mat need more advertisements. I know that New Japan did that, and boxing has done that, and I get it, and UFC does that. WWE doesn't be able to do it right. So, we have Styles against Gable. Thankfully, Gable is not the Money in the Bank briefcase winner because he doesn't deserve it because they are going to continue to make him goofy with this bullshit El Grande Frappuccino. They're athletic. It was well done. A big German to a pop. Then we got Creed interference. an ankle lock, but then the Styles Clash won it. There you are. I did note that Gable needs to stop the flying headbutt or the diving headbutt. Then Liv and Roxanne are talking strategy. I've seen movies start this way. So then Liv shows up without her pants. Kier, I don't care if it's only been a couple days. What is wrong with you, Kier? What did you want her to do? What did you want Liv to do during this segment, during another segment? You wanted her to get up somewhere. Isn't that right, Kier? Poor Kier, great guy. He's going to clip this and wonder what's wrong with me. You know what's wrong with me. At least you think you do. But you only know a fraction of a fraction. But seriously, it's Liv, Roxanne, Kairi Sane, and Rhea Bloody Ripley blowing the roof off the goddamn place. Rhea's very over. It's a 4-way Queen of the Ring tournament quarterfinal match. So they have they have first round deals. And then, actually, it would be quarterfinal. No, they actually have first round. Then they go to quarterfinals. Then they go to semifinals. Whatever. It's fine. The 4-way stuff's ridiculous. Triple H needs to stop with the 3-ways, the 4-ways, and stuff like that. That's not a euphemism. It's really lazy, in my opinion. I think that this show could have stood to have a couple more matches. But Liv and Roxanne teamed up. Rhea used some good power. Kairi did some nice hit-and-run offense. And Roxanne has really improved, and Liv is therefore everything, has really dramatically improved her character and really, really risen up. Rhea can just basically coast and be who she is. Kairi, kind of the same. Rhea did end up getting stopped from winning by Raquel. Great. That's just what I know she's one half of the tag team champions, but seriously. And then the elbow to Liv. But Roxanne then suddenly folds up Kairi saying 1, 2, 3. Oh, I remember a girl that was nice at folding up. I should call her. Roxanne wins. There we are. And then Nikki Bella is back because 1, Phoenix, and 2, she's got to hype up Evolution 2 later. She's talking to Natty and I think Maxine. Then she talks, I believe, to Io and Kairi. I think Kairi was there. Please do not put Nikki in a singles match. Just don't at this point. Okay, I'm going to just save it. Or I was going to save it for later. Despite how I feel about Nikki personally. It's bullshit she's got to pay money to that, I'll say alleged abuser, even though there are things that, have pretty much indicated that it did actually happen. But for the purposes of avoiding a lawsuit or avoiding, anything where I'll be targeted, alleged abuser. But honestly, the guy's a piece of shit, doesn't deserve a goddamn dime from Nikki Bella. Again, however I feel about the wrestling persona, she deserves to raise her kids in a safe environment. Becky's out to gloat. I like Becky. I'm kind of over this because it's the same heel persona. She's trying too hard. Lyra needs to come out and raise her hand right. Lyra shows up, and she's going to say, slowly I stalk, step by step. And then Bayley suddenly blitzkriegs Becky from behind in all white. Not that I noticed or anything. Lyra didn't seem too happy. We're going to get a 3-way. Likely at SummerSlam. I mean, maybe at Night of Champions, but I don't know. I think they could go to SummerSlam. They could go to Evolution 2, Electric Boogaloo, but it's nice to see Bayley back. Her friend ain't bad either. Hey-o! So, Truth then shows up. Don't let anyone tell you all that your voices don't matter. You brought me back, and fans did. And that's good. This is his one final run. He's Ron Killings. He just wants to do his own thing. He wants to be himself more. Maybe harken back to his early days in TNA when he was Ron the Truth Killings. And he cuts his hair. Probably just as well because even though he has defied Father Time as far as major injuries, he did have that torn quad or torn... Is it either torn quad or torn ACL? I forget what, but it was in NXT. And he's done well. He has kept himself in tremendous shape. He's well respected backstage. So much so the talents and the fans alone pushed for him to be rehired. And even if it's another year, even if he's done by next year's WrestleMania, he at least gets to go out on his own terms. He cuts his hair, though. That's good. Whatever works for him helps get him a new look. Turning over a new queef, I think is how the term goes. That's good. Good for him. So, I do want to pop in, though, and just say that I had my door open at the time, and I said, by the way, just in case, for those who don't know, because of financial difficulties, I do live with my parents, just so you know, when I help them out, they help me out. And nothing wrong with that. If you got to move back in with your parents, you have a good relationship with them, that's okay. But I just happened to, have the door open, and my mom popped in and said, "Is that Seal?" when she saw Truth cutting his hair. And I forgot what happened for a little bit because I threw my pen down in laughter and was just losing it. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It's a prayer for the dying, ladies and gentlemen. Judgment Day issues. Good Lord, this group will not end. Penta has a really cool entrance. And the Mr. Iguana package. Look, people seem to like him. I don't know why, but whatever. I don't have anything against him. I find it to be stupid and goofy. And the same thing as Orange Cassidy and various other things. People say, well, people like Mick Foley. The difference is Mick Foley was an actual talent that didn't just rely on Socko. He only relied on it later down the road. He relied on it later down the road when he was broken down. Not during his prime. He had beaten his body to shit. It wasn't like that was something he did at the beginning of his career and it defined his whole career. So, Rollins and Co. are backstage. Possible cash-in, possible whatever. Maybe here comes Bronson and Braun Steinbreaker are going to become tag team champions. In fact, I'd be for that because they need a shot in the arm for the tag division. They need something. Speaking of something, Penta, Dominic, Zayn, and Steiner was certainly something. It's what you would expect. There was worked action here. Penta did some nice dives. Dominic had a nice tornado DDT outside. Steiner, hey, in that clothesline over the announcer's table. The cow print pants, I'm not necessarily certain on Dominic, but whatever. The Frankensteiner, whatever. It's insane. By the way, the reason this show was more tolerable is Pat McAfee was not on there. It was Cole and Wade, mainly Wade, carrying this thing. Because Cole said at one point, pound the ground, because Cole doesn't understand how terminology works. So, we got a destroyer to Dominic. We got a spear outside. The production truck seemed to have difficulty following some of this. And LA Knight showed up and attacked Braun Steinbreaker because, well, of the stuff at Money in the Bank. And then Zayn eventually won and got the victory. Good that Zayn won. Going on at least in the tournament. I would not be opposed to Sami Zayn getting into the finals. I don't think he will, but it's cool. And they said Paul Heyman is beside himself. No, that's just Paul Heyman. He's twice the man he used to be. So, Kathy's with AJ Styles. He talks a little bit about Chad Gable. Then New Day show up and they talk about there are so many great tag teams on Raw. Are there great tag teams currently on the Raw roster? Because I'm not seeing them. Asuka video package. Some fans were emotional seeing Nikki Bella back. Not going to knock them one bit. If she means something to them, good for them. So she tries to pronounce some of the names. She kind of stumbles a little bit. To be fair, she's probably not that familiar with at least some of them. She mispronounced Stephanie Vacour's name. I think it's Vacour, however you say it. I'm probably about as close as anybody's going to get. And then Liv interrupts and kind of says, "Oh, you didn't mention me." Can Liv get arrested for beating up the elderly? Will you be serious? Liv did say, "Oh, you talk about if I was in your time, I would have beaten you as champion and everything and held on to it longer. And I have all these great things and I have a man." Was that really need? I mean, I'm not saying Liv is trying to be mean-spirited. Is that really necessary? I mean, given what the fresh wounds that Nikki's going through, but whatever. We do get a brief scuffle, and Liv does hit Oblivion, so there you go. That's good. Some have said that, this is going to lead to Brie coming back. I don't think Brie's going to come back. Some have said that it's going to be Paige coming back. Dear God, do not at all do that, because nobody wants to see Paige back. Her front, her back, her side profile, which she will probably find in another prison sentence if she keeps doing what she's doing. I don't need to see her back because of Saraya, she was not any good and she's not going to be any better when they expect at least a little bit more effort in WWE. So, but Liv just laying into Nikki right there, laying him verbally and everything and hitting the Oblivion, and She almost got right up in there. Again, Kier. Where was she trying to get? Where was she trying to get, Kier? You needed me on the live train, didn't you? Deep cut. Kier is going to kill me one of these days. If I'm ever in Kier's neck of the woods, he will drive and he will kill me. I might be on the East Coast next October, by the way, possibly. Jay entrance takes a while. Mini Yeet is there. Jay and Gunther had a world title match, and this is what I'm going to summarize. Jay had bad ribs from the outside moonsault and the tsunami. He was beat up. He kept fighting back. Gunther kept cutting him down. And eventually, Jay would hit more moves. He would keep going for his own sleeper. He would hit his splash. He would hit his moves, but he just didn't have the same impact. He hit his splash at one point where he practically stepped on Gunther's face, not meaning to. And a spear, the splash misses. A sleeper by Gunther, and a sleeper by Jay. And then Gunther gets the sleeper back on and gets the win, the big win, new champ. 6 weeks of whatever that was with Jey Uso is over. I'm a little bit honestly surprised they ended Jay's title reign so soon. I would have thought they would have had a cash-in by Seth. I thought it might have been the perfect way to give Seth just a little bit more of an edge. But I guess we thought we knew him. No, in all seriousness, I actually expected Jay's title reign to go on longer. But, oh well, I'm not going to complain because he lost in front of his kid. That's what you get for having heroes. Never meet your heroes. Except his hero's his dad, so he kind of has no choice. Hey, at least his dad isn't Joe Jackson, because then something else would have happened. We'd have had a different kind of yeeting. And on that note, well, I don't know if I'm going to review Raw next week, but I hope you enjoyed this one. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.